Hi everyone, this is Anna. Thank you for clicking onto my YouTube channel, Anna's Take with the Twist. In this video, we're going to talk about the amazing debut novel by Julia May Jonas, Vladimir. It is the source material for a limited TV series, also titled Vladimir, also by Julia May Jonas, as she is the creator, writer, and one of the 3 executive producers we will be talking about in this video. Now, the erotic psychological thriller Vladimir will have all 8 episodes available on Netflix as of March 5th, 2026. Each episode has a running time of about 30 minutes, so it should be about 4 hours long. So it's like watching like a long movie, perfect for streaming. So that's a bonus. Now, another bonus is the fact that when shows are streaming, they don't have to adhere to the same network restrictions. So they can really push the envelope for, like, let's say, sexual content and also for language. Another bonus is that when productions are streaming, they generally have a higher budget, right? Production budget, which means that there's going to have more production value. So it just makes it a better experience for everyone who's watching at home. Now, even though Vladimir was filmed in Hollywood North, in this case, varying parts of Ontario, including Toronto, I did not work on this production. However, I'm still very excited about it for good reason. One, it has an amazing cast and of course an amazing book. A lot of the filming locations were up north, so in cottage country-like areas, and the 3 executive producers are really interesting and diverse. They offer a lot. And there's actually a lot of great information in today's video, so please stay until the end. If at any point you like the video, you can always like the video, and of course you can always leave a comment and you can always subscribe. So, Vladimir by Julia May Jonas was actually available first on February 1st of 2022, and it got a lot of attention. Like, I'm going to read something from the front. New York Times Editor's Choice. One of Washington Post's 50 notable fiction books of 2022. One of Time's 100 must-read books of 2022. One of People's Top 10 books of 2022. And NPR, Vulture, Entertainment Weekly, Town and Country, Esquire, The Guardian, Newsweek, New York Public Library, Vox, LitHub, and Kirkus Best Book of the Year. It is a Book of the Month Club selection, an Amazon Best Book of the Month, and an Indie Next Pick. I'm just going to read you something very quickly from the back. So it's going to be part of the description from the back cover. So, a popular English professor whose charismatic husband at the same small liberal arts college is under investigation for inappropriate relationships with his former students. When our narrator finds herself alarmingly infatuated with Vladimir Ladinsky, a celebrated young novelist newly arrived on campus, their tinderbox world comes dangerously close to exploding. I've read Vladimir twice. The first time I read it was about 6 months ago, and I wanted to read it for fun. I borrowed it from the Toronto Public Library, and the reason I wanted to read it was because I know someone that worked on crew. So they told me who the cast was, and they told me some of the filming locations, and I thought, okay, well, let's just see what this is about. Then I read it the second time just before I did this video. Started researching it. And as you can see, it is my copy, and I have marked it up. Like front pages, everything. I'm going to use this for reference for this video, obviously, for future videos, and I'm very excited. A lot of great information in here. One thing that this book does have that the library copy did not have is a book club favorites reader's guide. So that's at the end. Now, the both times that I read Vladimir, I just kind of found that it gently pulled on the threads of my curiosity and my emotions until I found myself reading the last line. I really did enjoy this book. Now, if that sentence sounds familiar, a version of it can actually be found on page 102. But that's what I really enjoyed about the book. I loved it because we just kind of like went along. It wasn't like anything jarring. I didn't feel like I was on a roller coaster. I did feel like I was rubbernecking a few times though. Like, I'm not going to lie. There was like, what? Anyway, and the reason for that is because, like our main character, who still doesn't have a name, tells us so much about herself. Like things that are, in my opinion, like considered to be like really quite intimate. So I did find myself rubbernecking because I felt like I was reading her journal. some of the things that she talks about, I mean, like several underlining themes, you know, sex, power, and finance. So she talks about money quite a bit, actually. For this book, I would say that, you know, they probably should have just found their honey where they, you know, don't get their money kind of thing, right? But really the underlying theme in this book, in my opinion anyway, is escape. Our character wants to escape all the time. There's so many examples of her wanting to escape her life, her relationship with her husband, just everything. She even tells us actually on page 12, which I found kind of interesting. So on page 12, she says, I enjoy the idea of his virility, and I enjoyed the space that his affairs gave me. I was professor of literature, a mother to Sydney and her writer. What did I want with a husband who wanted my attention? I wanted to avoid, and I wanted to be avoided. So I thought that was kind of interesting, considering it's also on page 12 that she starts to actively seduce Vladimir. Like, that's where she starts her seduction. So even though we have all these examples throughout the book of her trying to escape, she's really puts it on thick, the whole flattery thing with Vladimir. She tells him her feelings about his book. And she writes everything down as if she's reading from a script. So I thought that was really kind of interesting. And even though she's been through so much, towards the end of the book, she's still trying to escape. It even says, like right there on the bottom of page 232, the top of 233, so last paragraph of chapter 25, where she says, I don't sacrifice my independence or interest. And then the sentence continues. I thought that was just kind of interesting. Because it's like, okay, I get it. I didn't really like that sentence, to tell you the truth. But it's also in that last paragraph that our protagonist speaks directly to us, the reader, where she, you know, says, please don't. And I thought, oh, this is really interesting. She's breaking the fourth wall, right? Because that's what it's called in the film. It's called breaking the fourth wall, where the character speaks directly to the audience. So an example of that, TV shows would be like Magnum PI, right? Where Tom Selleck would get like that really close up, looks directly into the camera, and he looks at us and he says something to us, the home audience. And then, of course, like Phoebe Waller-Bridge also did it in her production of Fleabag. So Magnum PI, Fleabag, and Vladimir are very character-driven shows. But in Vladimir, our character is driving the crazy train, so to speak, which I thought was just kind of interesting, because we've seen this in different movies before, and we've heard this before in real life, where the person will be like, yeah, you know, and then she called me at like 3:33 a.m. to let me know that she was wearing like, you know, 2 adult diapers because she wanted to take her ex-husband's car to go and kill her boyfriend, and it was an 18-hour drive. Click. So, I mean, it does happen. It can happen to anyone. But here's the thing, not anyone can play that role. So our unnamed main character in the book now is named M in the TV series. And that person is played by the multi-talented, highly respected Rachel Weisz. She, like her character in Vladimir, looks far younger than her age. That is the truth. I didn't know this, but Rachel Weisz has been in 63 movies, anywhere from like a blockbuster to an indie and everything in between. So the indie film that I loved her in was The Lobster, where she played the role of Short-Sighted in 2015 with Colin Farrell. Now, she did receive an Oscar for her Best Supporting Actress Award, and that was for the role of Tessa Quayle in The Constant Gardener. I didn't know that she was producer. She's produced like 6, 7, 8 different productions, including Vladimir, so she is the executive producer for Vladimir. At the same time, she has a writer's credit, she has a director's credit, she's been in over 20 TV shows, and she's been in theater for decades, to the point where she's actually part of a theater company called Talking Tongues. And she made her Broadway debut with her husband, Daniel Craig, in 2013 in the play called Betrayal, which was not a musical. And they like blew the lid off the box office. Did like so incredibly well. So yes, Rachel Weisz, executive producer for Vladimir, brings a lot to the table. I was very, very impressed. And she's a fabulous actress too. Let's not forget that. Now, right, I want to just quickly mention her production company is called Astral Projection. And once again, I'm like very impressed by all of her accomplishments. Okay, so let's talk about Leo Woodall as he plays the role of Vladimir in the TV series. So I first know Leo Woodall from his role of Jack in the TV series White Lotus, second season. Oh my gosh, what an amazing actor. I mean, he played the bad boy so well. I really want to see what he's going to do with Vladimir. He's a little bit cheeky, like when we see him in the trailer, so let's see. John Slattery. His over 90 credits, TV shows and movies, fabulous actor. I loved him when he played the role of Roger Sterling in Mad Men. He played like the perfect cad. So I just found it kind of interesting that John Slattery is going to play the role of John, who is M's husband, who is also a cad. Yes. So those three actors, I'm very excited to see what's going to happen. Now, Julia May Jonas wrote the book Vladimir. Yes, she created it, and she's the writer, also an executive producer. However, I didn't know this, but she's also a playwright, and she's known very, very well in theater. She actually taught theater at Skidmore College and also at NYU, and she has a theater company called Nellie Tinder. She also has a new book coming out titled Diana, and that's expected to be out shortly, so in spring, so anytime soon. And then I will say too, like, yes, of course, while I was reading Vladimir, I knew that it was going to be a TV series. That's how I found out about the book. But even like in the book, she talks about film quite a bit. So I think that was always her end game. So I'm very curious to see what the book Diana, which is going to be out shortly, of course I'm going to read it, is going to be about. Sharon Horgan is the last executive producer we're going to talk about, and she is also amazing. I loved her in the TV series called Bad Sisters. It did have 2 seasons. Wow, what a plot twist. Was not expecting that at all. I didn't realize also that Sharon Horgan is the creator of that. Also an actress, and she wrote some episodes. So yes, Sharon Horgan is an award-winning Irish comedian, actress, writer, producer, director. I mean, her production company, Merman, is actually also producing the TV series Vladimir. So she brings a lot to the table too. So I'm very, very excited. Now, who loves Vladimir? Well, I love the book. I think Vladimir loves Vladimir. I think M loves Vladimir. I think that Vladimir's wife in the book loves him. And I think we're all going to love the TV series. I also think that the TV series is going to have some comic relief in the form of animals, because it is filming up north in cottage country-like locations. I think that there's going to have, I'm hoping, wouldn't mind, there, okay. I'm hoping that the TV series is going to have some drone shots of the actual area, because it is filmed in cottage country. And it's just so incredibly beautiful up there. I think there's going to be a lot of food and alcohol. So there's going to be some more F-bombs. And I think they're going to push the sexual content just a little bit further. Because in the trailer, it seemed a little bit like 9.5 weeks, like there. There was something there. Yeah, I think it's going to be fabulous. I'm very excited. I just want to let everyone know, I do not actually have Netflix. So I'm going to find a way to watch this, because that's how excited I am about the TV series. I'm also going to leave a link for the book Vladimir in the description box below. I will get a little bit of money of that, if in case anyone decides to purchase it. And thank you for watching Anna's Take with the Twist to the end. I really appreciate that. If at any point you like today's video, you can always like the video, you can always leave a comment, and yes, of course, you can always subscribe. Thanks again for watching Anna's Take with a Twist, and that's a wrap.